Perceptive readers, welcome to this Quantum Leap in Understanding number 15 in the James PoeArtistry Telegram app moment. I wanted to put this on the Perceptive Readers podcast as well, but as you can see or hear, I'm actually just using my phone, enjoying the air outside right now. Now, Quantum Understanding number 15, and the subject matter has to do with appreciating how your conscience that God has given you, that he trains, you see, comes into factoring exactly what you are doing in life, you see, from whether it's recreation to also occupation. This is what I mean by that. You know, I always like to bring out when persons are promoting themselves or their cause, you see, or even their business. Remember, they certainly have their priority of what they, want to do for their life. And so sometimes, they may look at you, these different individuals that's in any other type of occupation or what have you, and they may find you have, they're thinking this, oh, you have some talent that I would love to have or what have you. And remember, this happens in all aspects of organizations as well, okay? And one of the ways that they will try to maneuver, if you will, to get you to make a decision one way or the other is they will try to characterize this choice as one way or the other, as apples and oranges, as either or this, it's no in between. And see, and this is where your conscience come into play, is because, one of the things that I continue to try to help you perceptive readers to appreciate and understand, if you don't, is when you are faced with choices at times, the reasoning, you see, the dialogue, the conversation, the way that they may try to frame it or put you in it is not exactly, again, what they're stating. And so sometimes, like I said, in your willingness in negotiations, you might agree to something that's being stated and it still really doesn't apply to your situation at all. And so would you like an example of that? Well, the statement where Jesus says, no one can slave for two masters. All right. He said, either you will love the one and hate the other. And he used another expression as well. Either you will stick to one, you see, or lead to other. And we know, again, especially when it comes to serving God, the spiritual decisions that people make at times. And when you think about the Nazarites, you see, the Nazarites who were people who actually did set themselves apart not to do certain things, not to drink wine and things of that nature. Hey, their lives were totally dedicated not only to God, but to that role, you see, that they took upon. So there were just certain things they weren't going to do. So once they made that vow, it could be a lifetime, or it could be actually for a certain amount of time. You see what I'm saying? So once they made that vow, then yes, they couldn't one day, say, I'm not drinking wine for the next 30 days or what have you. And then the next day, turn around and have a big party or go to a big party and start drinking wine. See, so you can see how Jesus' words would apply about, look, you cannot serve two masters in this way. So it applies, you see, in those type of things like vows, etc. However, now we're still moving into the mundane things of life. The reason why, no matter what occupation you are pursuing, if you have not made a dedication or vow in such a way, you see, to God to do certain things or to abstain from certain things, then someone may say that to you and it really doesn't apply. How do we know? Well, let me ask you, out of all the millions upon billions of people, that have lived, what have they done every single day of their life? Or once they became adults, the majority of them, they've gotten up, whatever, occupation or job that they had, or like I said, down to our day that they go to, they're going to an employer, are they not? They're going to someone who could even be considered, in Bible terms of the old days, master-slave relationship, even though, they don't have total control, again, like I said, over your conscience or your own home life or what have you. But the whole point is, you see the principle that you're going there, and while you're there, you're actually doing the task, the role that was assigned by an employer, that was assigned by a master, if you will. Do you see what I'm saying? So the whole point is, you're doing that on one hand, and then that time that you had, once again, set aside, to make your livelihood, to bring home the bacon, as they speak. I know the vegans, but you know what I'm talking about, to bring home the smoothies, the vittles, the vegetables, as you see. That is, once again, part of your responsibility. Just as much as your other part or aspect will be what? To get to know God. So you can have some time set aside towards the mundane things of life that will be assigned to an employer, or again, that word master. You see what I'm saying? And then you still have, of course, another master in God in Christ. And that is the way it is set up, which the grand creator has no problem with that. So as long as that master doesn't, once again, make you do things against your conscience and against getting to know God, you see what I'm saying? Then you do have, in this sense, two masters, do you not? All right. And so you have to, once again, factor in your conscience, what you have set aside as dedication to God, making sure that you don't go against that, or you don't fulfill something that you said you was going to give to God, because in that way you can still see the apples and oranges, that we do have more than one master in a sense. We have one master in the spiritual sense, who is over all. But in day-to-day mundane living, occupation, way of life, no one can come to you and really tell you to quit your job or otherwise, when once again, it is not serving two masters. And, in the sense that they may try to convince you to quit a job this way or that way, when really the whole point is dependent on what, in your own conscience, in your own free will, what you're deciding to give to God in the first place. I hope this helps you, perceptive readers. You all have a very wonderful day.
Developed, created, and owned by James PoeArtistry Productions.